Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. Hope y'all are doing great. Got a quick little tutorial for you today. I'm just going to be breaking down this sample right here. So yeah, something really dark and spacey, kind of psychedelic, Travis Scott, Don Toliver vibes. I'm planning on putting this on my upcoming sample kit. I don't have a name for it or anything yet. I just know I am releasing that soon. I will keep y'all updated on that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first sound I started with was this bell one-shot. And that is from a Kondo Band's Eclipse one-shot kit. It's the 12th bell. I use this too much probably. I just put it on the stretch mode so that it doesn't change how long the bell is depending on the pitch, if that makes any sense. And I just played these chords right here without effects or halftime or anything. This is what it sounds like. So yeah, that second chord actually isn't even a chord, it's just an interval technically, but that's what it sounds like. It kind of gave me vibes of like, if you've seen Game of Thrones, spoiler alert, when they blow up the keep or whatever with the green fire. It's been a while since I've seen it, but the soundtrack that plays during that scene, it kind of gave me those vibes. So for effects, I put on a halftime, just default preset. J37 on the aquarium, brought the low pass down a little bit, and I think I messed with the delay levels. Good old vintage verb, and then just an EQ to cut out those lows. And then I re-exported that because the halftime was kind of glitching out with all the plugins I have loaded, so it wasn't on time. But this is what it sounds like with halftime and those effects. Next thing was this texture pluck type thing. This is from Coop the Truth's Ascension one-shot kit, and it sounds like this. That's without effects, and then I just played the bass notes of the chords as they play, and then I added a crystallizer for some kind of shimmer, a little band pass, nice little comeback kid delay. Then the Cymatics Origin plugin, which I've been using a lot recently, and it's free, so that's pretty fucking sick. And it also has like noise and chorus, movement, saturation, all kinds of good stuff in there. So I just used it on this one for a little bit of saturation, a little bit of chorus, and then I brought down the sample rate a little bit. And then finally just a TAL reverb for some space, and that sounds like this. So it's just kind of a shimmery texture in the background. Next thing I added, I believe, was this bass, which is just the frog bass from my Duality kit, 25% off with the code video25 on my website. But yeah, so that sounds like this. Is pretty much just following the chords. With a couple slides here and there, as I like to do. And the way I keep it from like ending, because these are really long notes, it's like a 4-bar single note, and this sample is not that long, so the way I did that was just by this crossfade knob, which just like sets a loop point, so like you could just play it infinitely. So that's pretty cool. I also just turned up the attack a little bit so it wasn't as harsh. No effects on that. So the next thing I added was just this Perc Loop from Only One's Percussion Loops Volume 5, and I pitched it down 600 cents, and I stretched it to 8 bars, and then I threw a reverb on it, a nice little band pass, then a compressor just to crunch it down a little bit, and then a stereo shaper on the shrinked preset. And then I layered that with this Ambience loop, which is from Wolf Stealth Survival Kit. Sounds like that. It's just like some white noise that's like filtered in a few different ways. Sounds pretty cool. So those together. Very saucy. I like how that was sounding. Next thing, which I've been doing even more recently, and I think I've been getting better at it, if I do say so myself, but I recorded some vocals. So without effects, but with auto-tune, it sounds like this. So just like some falsetto phrases, I guess. I don't know. Started with a compressor Pro C2 on the Total Control BM preset. Don't know what any of that means. I still don't really know how compressors work. Don't at me. Next was just an altar boy for some formant shift and quite a bit of drive. Then a good old comeback kid with a lot of ducking. Then we got a Valhalla room just to like spread it out and make it sound spacey. Another band pass. And finally a shaper box, which won't load, but it's just a half note sidechain. You can get the same thing with the Kickstart plugin. Just I think it would be like this one, and then bringing the mix down would do the same thing. All of that. Which is just sounds fucking sick if you ask me. I also did a few other phrases that just play in this other section. It's the same effects and everything. And then I have this little vocal one shot, which is from a arcade kit. I forget which one. I've just exported it and I have it in my like go-to kit up here somewhere, but I just stretched it and pitched it correctly and I put the same effects on it in context. Next thing I added was this little lead, which is the distorted Jupiter lead from the Australia Sounds Short Circuit one-shot kit. Shout out to 44th Floor for sending me this. It's a sick one-shot kit. I've been using it in all my beats recently. I will leave the link to that in the description. Shout out to 44th Floor. Seriously, goated kit. But here's what that lead sounds like without anything. Then I added a aquarium preset on J37, and then a micro shift default preset just to spread it out. Bandpass, vintage verb for some space, and I upped the decay even more, 100% wet. Then just a comeback kid, and I just did some crazy little slides all over the scale. No real like intention in mind, just clicking in things until they sound cool. Next, I was influenced pretty heavily by What to Do off the Jackboys album and all the crazy strings they have on the outro of that song. So I came to Splice and I just searched like violin or something and I found this right here, which sounds sick as fuck, and it also kind of goes along with that Game of Thrones vibe I got in the beginning. So I just layered that on and I stretched it, pitched it correctly, just put a band pass. Another cymatics origin just with some saturation and a little bit of resampling. Then a stereo shaper on the shrink preset, good old vintage verb, a panagement. I just turned up the distance in the pan and the phase a little bit so it just like orbits around your head. And then I threw on this plugin called Fresh Air, which just kind of bumps up some of the highs. So layered, it sounds like this. And that brings us to this like 8 bars of outro, which is heavily inspired by Mike Dean and like What to Do, and a lot of songs off Don Toliver's new album that have those sick ass outros. So I knew I had to have some kind of crazy synth bass, so I came to Analog Lab and I pulled up this bass that I made in the Prophet. These are the settings if you want to pause it and look at those, and I just played this pattern right here. Very Mike Dean-esque. Next thing I added was this hotline pad out of Lewis Flynn's Astral Analog Lab Bank. I just copied the same chords I played with that bell, and that sounds like this. Really warm and aggressive, so I added a little bit more chorus with the TAL chorus. This EQ, apparently, which I actually don't remember adding. So that's interesting. That was probably just an accident, but it ended up sounding okay. Another shaper box that won't load, that's just a half note sidechain. And another cymatics origin with these settings. And then there's also one more Perc Loop that I forget where I got it because I've had it for so long, but it just has the same effects as that first Perc Loop, and it sounds like this. Super simple. Finally, I just have this Wanting classic synth key from that same Analog Lab bank, and I came over here to this keyboard and I channeled my best inner Mike Dean, and I tried to play a little synth solo. I'm not the best, so I definitely had to like come back in and edit it after I recorded it in. And on there we just have an RF Destroyer on the Chorus 1 preset, another Comeback Kid, a Filter Freak on the Come Together preset just with a few tweaks, high pass EQ, and then a Soothe, which also won't load, but it's just on the default preset just to cut out some of the harshness that's on there. And I'm gonna have to turn that off to play the outro or else my computer will explode. But here is what all of that sounds like together. So yeah, pretty proud of that. Gives me What to Do vibes mixed with Game of Thrones, which is a pretty sick vibe if you ask me. I will play some more of that sample right after this. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that good shit. Follow me on Instagram at proudby_instinct. Go cop my kits on my website for 25% off with code video25. Make sure you watch out for this sample kit when it drops. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.